Every morning I wake up, I pray to the Lord. Victory, from poverty to big dreams, and all my dog, them with me. My family, they with me.
First and foremost, Kahira is free. Welcome home. All 4 members of Gaza Nation that was locked up are now free. And that's a good look. We should all rejoice, Gaza Nation. That's crazy good news. I really wish for my first time back in a long time that brand new preview, Victory, that Vybz Kartel put out. I wish I had the lyrics to that to review that. But I'm choosing Hype Life. Shout out to Juju. Shout out to Drop Top. Shout out to the whole Gaza Nation. That's for good times, for old memories. Let's do a Vybz Kartel, a world boss, king of dancehall review. So without further ado, this is Hype Life. The life we've been wanting Vybz Kartel to live for a long time, and he's finally doing it. Shout out to Mad Sus, shout out to Sean Storr, shout out to Cairo. Welcome home. I hope blessings fall upon everyone in Gaza Nation.
Me escape from prison like Chapo. Money off it pop up. Big G-Wagon all girl no so cock up. Guappy jeans and no pop up. Pussy them woulda still want see me lock up.
The World Boss begins the first verse by saying, me escape from prison like Chapo. Money off it pop up. Right? He said, yo, I escaped prison like El Chapo. Right? People, if you know anything about the cartels, if you was watching Narcos, or before that, if you were interested in it, you know the legend of Chapo. Well, in Jamaica, Vybz Kartel is motherfucking Chapo at this point. Right? And he said, money off a pack up. We know since the Freedom Street tour, holy, he's been getting a lot of money. A lot of money. I ain't pocket watching, but if I was going to say somebody out here in Jamaica is getting money, yo, he's making up for lost time with the amount of money he's getting. So he said big G-Wagon, right? Every girl's cocking up. Every girl's dancing. Every girl, as soon as a girl's around Vybz Kartel, you see the yacht parties. As soon as a girl sees Vybz Kartel, they're going crazy. They don't even care if Sedum's right there. They're just going crazy. Yo, it's the world boss. Obviously, respectfully, but you already know. And the G-Wagon, we already know how he's living. He got 2 Rolls Royces. He said, yo, if you can't afford 2, then you shouldn't even have the first one, right? So we already know the world boss is living like we all have been praying for when he got out of prison, right? Just unbelievable. Still has the same talent as when he left to when he forwarded back from prison. So just wild opening lines to this song. Crazy. Hype Life.
Go pa embassy the Monday, tell them say me send me them out the visa, you not run yet. Then me fly out the nether sun, the whole industry nervous like a slave on him a runway.
So, yo, World Boss is saying, I think this whole thing, guys, you could tell me in the comments, but to wrap it all up, I think he's basically saying, yo, if I even have to renew my visa, because I don't know how the visa thing works. I'm privileged. I'm American. We don't have to deal with this shit. So somebody tell me, but I think he's just flexing on us like, yo, he might have to private jet to the embassy on Monday, on Sunday, get everything checked out, and then he's back on a private jet back to America on Monday, like he's got that amount of motion. You know what I mean? And then he's saying, one of my favorite lines, right? He says the whole industry is nervous, like a slave when they run away, right? So he's saying like, bro, like the industry is not even like, other artists are like, damn, I wish I had that type of motion where I could just, hit back and forth anywhere I want. I could just fly around the world, and I know it's hard to do that in Jamaica. You got to have real motion, you got to have real clout, and World's Boss is just flexing on him like, yo, it didn't take him long after he got out of prison for him to be jet setting around the whole world, right? And he says, yo, where I live, you're not allowed. And I think that's like a double entendre. It's kind of a like a dig, like a shot at Jamaicans, being like, yo, to some of them, like, yo, where I live, most of you ain't even allowed to forward, right, to where I live. And then it's also a shot to us poor people, like, yo, where I live, I'm in a gated community in a neighborhood you ain't never been before, right? Like, I'm living a life that you couldn't even imagine. And before prison, he was living that life. But remember, he did 13 years of time, hard time, wifey, that hard time, where we'll never fathom, you know, probably the worst times anybody could ever imagine. So this is all well deserved.
When me live, you can't come there. You see big house and think of me, but I'm a son them. 2 mil budget and my bank account no budget. Me a live off a $50 million budget.
All right, this might be my favorite line, yo. He said, you see this big house and you think it's my house, but that's my son's house. That's Lyrical Vybz and Lyrical Adi's house. Probably in the same neighborhood as him, right? Or probably right next door, but yo, he's balling so much, and he's got such a good relationship with Lyrical Vybz and Lyrical Adi. I'm sure all the rest of his sons and daughters, he got a great one, but for some reason, Lyrical Vybz and Lyrical Adi are like, they're like little cartels. Like they followed in their father's footsteps, for real. So he records with them all the time, and they got their career going, and they have a crib right there, and the crib's so dope that they live in. You go, damn, that must be Kartel's crib. And it's like, nah, that's just the son's crib. Like, his shit's even iller, right? And he said, $2 million budget in his bank account ain't even budget, right? He's not lying. You gotta understand that. Like, he's telling the truth, bro. Just no pocket watching again, but just think off of just Freedom Street alone. Just alone, how much bread Kartel made. He made up for all the lawyer money spent over those 13 years. And then some, right? And that's just off of that, right? So, yo, his pockets is, yo, yeah, he don't even have to. He sees something that he likes, he buys it. He don't even have to think twice, right? And he says, yo, I live off a $50 million budget. He ain't lying, bro. I guarantee. I guarantee. Since he got out of prison, he's ran up probably 50 M's. You know he owns his own, a lot of his own music. He owns that shit. So now he's not paying lawyers, and he's allowed to promote his own shit. Yeah, he's either got 50 M's or he's right there. And by the end of this year, he will have 50 M's. Guaranteed, right? Just crazy. And now check out this chorus.
Type life this, ice like fridge. Weed and grab a man, high like bridge. 18 watch cause I my time this. Ref them gal, high mileage.
Yo, the chorus, very simple, to the point, but always absolutely fire, right? You got hype like this, ice like fridge, right? Weed and grab a man, high like bridge, right? I don't know if he's talking about High Bridge in Jamaica and Portland. He might be talking about that. I think it's Priestman's Bridge. Or there's High Bridge in the Bronx. You already know Vybz Kartel fucks with the Bronx. But yo, off the weed and grabba, he's high like bridge, right? Fire, and then rev them gal, high mileage. So just straight to the point chorus. Fits the beat perfectly. Super catchy. Absolutely fire. Again, shout out to Drop Top. And yo, again, shout out to Cairo. A crazy thing, just real quick, before we go to verse 2, is Cairo, right, is the only person in Gaza when they were locked up that I never talked to in prison. Crazy, mad sus, one time randomly, out of nowhere, video called me from prison. Wildest shit ever. But we didn't talk too much other than that. And then Sean Storm, he would just talk about, he would like my stuff and do that, but we never like had like any deep conversations like that. And then you already know the video I just dropped with the leaked DMs from Vybz Kartel's prison days. You should go check that video. It's crazy. But yeah, on to verse 2. Hype Life. Boom.
I pray for me fall, me I pray for me rise. That means said the whole of we I pray for me life.
The greatest to ever do it. The Exile Pharaoh begins verse 2. Hold on. Begins verse 2 by saying, yo, they're praying for my fall and I'm praying for my rise. Does that mean the whole time we're all praying for my life? Because he got so much attention on him, so many people praying for his downfall, and the whole time he's praying that he gets out and does better and continues his successful mission. So with all these people thinking about Kartel and like wanting to be in his business, that means everybody's at least praying for him one way or another, right? If you're praying for his downfall or you're praying for him, you're still praying, which is a fire bar, right? That's fire, right?
See them loyal, me make she my wife and turn them wife in a side chick, bite it.
And he says, see them's loyal, so I'm gonna make her my wife. And yo, shout out to see them. I never really spoke to her before in real life. But it was crazy. A couple weeks ago, he was doing a live. And I was watching the live and I said something. And he said, the world boss is free. That's what he said my name was. I'm like, bro, I'm Caspian. You don't remember me anymore, right? Like, And see them said, hey, he used to be Free the World Boss. And I was like, oh shit, that's so dope, right? Shout out to see them. And he said, and then he'll turn the wives into side chicks. So turn see them into his wife because she's the loyalist, right? But then he'll turn other men's wives into his side chicks. Yo, come on, man. You can't say that, right? Then he says, bite it, ride dick. You like it? Type shit, right? Just, flexing on. You always know Vybz Kartel with the ladies, right? He's always been a ladies' man, right? Ain't nobody denying that. So he's just flexing on him because you see women still in love with him like they're in love with Usher and Chris Brown, right? So, yo, shout out to the Gaza girls, right?
Right dick, you like it? Type shit, anything me see it and me want it, me buy it. Why it bun them? That I'm at the pussy them. Me a go cap a jet, cut the wings and drive it.
And then, yo, to finish out the song, right? I love this last line. It's kind of fire, right? And it's almost true with all the whips that he's driving now. I remember when he first got out, and he was like had a couple like a BMW X6s and shit. And now he's already like Lambos and Ferraris and motherfucking Bentleys and fucking Cybertrucks and shit. Like this, he's going crazy on them, right? So he said, anything I see, I buy. Right? And it burns them. It mads the pussy them, right? Pisses the fucking pussies off, right? And that's all, bro. If you're new to Vybz Kartel's music or a new fan, you do not understand when he was locked in prison, running the entire game, still the king of dancehall from prison. There was so many people dedicated channels, to hating on him. Literally, they dedicated channels to trying to keep him locked up forever. for hating, just like absolutely despise this man, right? And then there was people who, like me, who wanted to keep the name going, knew he was the greatest lyricist of all time, knew he was the greatest musician of all time, and we just wanted to keep the legacy going until he was able to forward from prison and keep his own legacy going, right? So he just said to them, you know, it just, every time he cops a new whip, a new chain, a new watch, it makes them go crazy because they still wish he was in prison, right? And then it's my favorite line. It's dope. He said, I'm going to cop a jet, cut the wings off, and drive the motherfucker. Because he already had every whip and tried them. So now he needs to cop a jet, turn that shit into a car, bro. You get a G7, a Gulfstream, and just turn that shit into a whip, drive it down Miami Beach, right? But I mean, seriously, there's still some whips that I gotta see him drive. You gotta get a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg or something. That's next up on the list. You gotta get some type of crazy hypercar. Then you could cop a jet and cut the wings, right? But yo, feels good to be back. You know, I don't do this often anymore. You know, I don't have the time. I don't get paid for this, and it's just tough balancing this with real life sometimes. But you always know I miss talking to the people. I love Jamaica. I love dancehall. I love Gaza Nation. We have the greatest memories ever together. It's history. It's a piece of dancehall. And you know, I'm still from time to time gonna check in, make some videos, make some content. But you know, we got to keep real life moving. But you already know it's Gaza forever.